Hey, real estate rock stars, welcome to the whole enchilada of real estate investing, the only podcast that serves up the full feast of street smart strategies to build wealth and take control of your financial future. I'm Lou Brown, and I've been in the real estate game since 1976, so I've learned how to make the whole plate worth it. Each week, I'll be dishing out creative financing hacks and proven systems that help investors build multi-million-dollar businesses. No fluff, just the good stuff, straight from the source. Ready to dig in and start making deals? Let's get to it. You are in for a treat today for sure. Welcome to the whole enchilada of real estate investing. And today we have a superstar, not just a star, but a superstar. And I am so very pleased that you were able to join us today. Dusty Keefe, right here from Charleston, South Carolina. So a lot of these people don't know who you are, and they don't know what you've done, and they don't know how we got to know each other. And so I'd love you to tell them who you are, a little bit about your family and your real estate business and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we got started at the ripe old age of, I don't know, 21 or so. We stumbled into a Barnes & Noble. I don't even know why we were in there, but for some reason we found ourselves in a Barnes & Noble one summer. We were living in Charleston. Picked up a book called How to Make $1 Million in 3 Years Without Cash. I was like, that's perfect, because we don't have any cash, and we need some money. So in that book was a coupon for a seminar in Atlanta coming up. I don't know if you knew that part. Pulled it out, and we decided to go for some reason. And I went to that seminar, saw a panel of experts getting interviewed. Lou was on the panel, and immediately we were like, that's our guy. So we signed up for a boot camp right there and learned enough just to be dangerous, started making offers between classes while we were still in school, and did our first deal that I talked a little bit about yesterday. And it was creative, bought a house, found a lease option buyer who actually gave us another house in Columbia that had a small mortgage. We did a sub-2 on that, took the equity, rolled it into their credit towards the first one, filled the Columbia house, got them both qualified, and pulled out enough money to where we were like, wow, this really works.
There must be something to this real estate game.
First deal was creative, and we actually were still in school. We waited till after Christmas break, let our parents have a nice Christmas vacation, and then we all three quit school. And then some of us were in our last semesters and last year of college. And so they weren't too fired up at first about our entrepreneurial spirit, but they came around. So been doing it for about 23 years now.
And you made that decision at my event, is that right?
Oh yeah.
So
I think the quote at the time was, we learned more in 4 days here at your event than we did in 4 years of college. So we had read Rich Dad Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich, and there was a story in Think and Grow Rich, I think it was, where the general sails to a foreign land. He commands his troops to burn the ships they came in on. Of course, they're going to win the battle. And I was like, that's where we're at right now. We need to burn the ships. So that's when we all quit school, went all in. None of us wanted jobs, and we just burned the ships and went all in on real estate.
So back then, I think I had the Creative Realty Investor certification. Certified Realty Investor, is that right? Certified Realty Investor, something like that. And so I was doing a different day on each subject, right? I was doing one on buying, and one on selling, and one on trusts, and one on renovation, something like that, right? And then that's what stemmed off to become my 4-day events.
Right.
4-day event on buying, 4-day event on holding and selling, 4-day event on
multiple
trust.
times.
Yeah,
Worth it.
multiple times. It's a beautiful thing.
Need to come back.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Oh yeah, there's a lot more to this story.
I'd like to bring the wife back and come do them all again so she knows what I'm talking about. We give her all these crazy ideas these days.
That's a brilliant move. Definitely we'll bring her up to speed. There's no doubt about it. Sometimes I've found out that wives and husbands will actually listen to me more than they'll listen to each other. Oh, that got around. So
she gets it now. She did meet you at Family Mastermind, so at least we got that. She knows a little bit, so she knows where I learned it from. So.
That is a beautiful thing. So you burned the ships and you said, we're not going to go back to school.
Yeah, we had no desire.
Well, first of all, everybody's wondering, what did your parents say?
Mine were relatively pretty cool. The other two, one was at the Citadel, but you don't quit the Citadel in your last semester after you've gone through all that hell for 4 years. And then the other one was civil engineering at Clemson. So his parents were very traditional and very surprised, but they all came around.
They all
He'll
came
be here
around.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
He'll tell you all about his story.
I can't
He's
wait.
passionate.
I tell you, you have been a great example of exactly how the system works because you took it, you ran with it, you caused a lot of things to happen in your world. I remember when we were coaching on your first year, right? And it's such a great story that you tell about. Do you remember the guy, the agent that was the 45 years of the business?
That house isn't very far from here, actually.
That house is not far from here. So why don't you tell him that story?
You remember the numbers probably better than I do. He tells it all the time. Yeah, I remember when we first got started, we got this great smoking deal under contract here in West Ashley. And nice neighborhood, established, beautiful house, 2-story brick house, and I was fired up. It might have been a sub 2, I think it was. I got a deal under contract for, I think it was like 130, and filed my notice of the contract on the property, thank goodness.
Everybody aware of the affidavit memorandum of purchase and sale agreement? So that was in the early days of me using that document, and I told Dusty, oh, you gotta tie up your deal, you gotta make sure you record something on public record to make sure that nobody can steal that deal.
Oh yeah, I don't know if this has ever happened to y'all, but all of a sudden the seller stops calling you back, start getting crickets, and you're like, what is going on? Closing's supposed to be next week, hadn't heard a peep from them. Just had my spidey senses started tingling, so I just went to the property and knocked on the door, and she goes, oh, my agent friend who I've known all these years said it wasn't a valid contract, and this and that, he can get me more money, and I think he wanted the deal more than he wanted to be their agent, but so he's telling me this, that, and the other, and how it's a terrible contract, not a South Carolina contract, not valid, and all this stuff, and I call Lou freaking out. And he's, don't worry, chill out, don't worry, we're gonna pop up like a jack in the box. whenever the time comes, that notice is gonna pop right up. So I actually took it a step further and said, oh great, where are you closing? She told me, and I faxed them a copy of it. Just to make sure the attorney on the other side had it. So that deal came back to me, and that realtor went away. Ended up closing on that deal and selling it for, I guess, $230, not too long after some
So
renovation.
$100,000.
Yeah.
So that one document was worth $100,000, right? You get
That document has been worth many hundreds of grams to me over the years, so that's been a great one.
So give them some insight into your business.
Sure.
What does your business look like?
Yeah, so we started with doing lots and lots of houses and subject tos and lease options and all that fun stuff. These days I do a lot more with mobile homes, all the same stuff. I still do lease options and rentals and all that fun stuff. 6 of them last week. I'm gonna keep them all and lease option them all out. 2 of them already have tenants, but. So yeah, keeping them all. Do a lot with mobile home parks. So bought a handful of parks over the years. Sold a couple of the smaller ones over the past year or two, and then still have a 48 unit or 46 unit. I can never remember. Mobile home park here in South Carolina. No investors, no partners on it. Just one we've owned for about 6 years now.
About 6 years. And so you've got these wonderful folks in there. Are you you're lease optioning every one of the mobile homes to the people that are in?
In that park, we're trying not to own any of the units because it's out of town also, and just try to get the lot rents on those. But the ones in town here, I own the units because affordable housing is really hard to come by here in Charleston, South Carolina. Properties are very expensive, so if you have something that people can move right in and then give you 6, 7, 8 grand down and move right in and do lease option from me for a lot of them 50 or something like that, then they'll try to pay it off over a couple of years, and they're thrilled to death to have anything here in Charleston because they couldn't qualify for a house.
So what does the monthly look like on those?
Yeah, so the rents are pretty lopsided as far as the purchase price. That's what I backed into this, like on accident. We used to throw these leads away all the time. And after I did a couple, I was like, wait a minute.
This is truly affordable housing,
yeah.
and you can make a big markup.
Yeah, it's pretty common. We buy these things for $12,000 to $15,000 and can rent them from $1,250 to $1,650.
per month.
per month, where they're at, yeah.
So the return on investment is off
It's
the chain.
it's extremely high.
And that's what makes for a beautiful business. And you've done both single family and you've done mobile homes and you've done multifamily as well, right?
Yep.
So tell us about, do you have any multifamilies these days?
So I've invested in syndications of a lot of friends from masterminds into their projects. One of our first deals we did, actually off of Bandit Sign, was a 10-unit apartment near Clemson. So we did do that one, but most of them, I've just put them in other people's multifamily syndications.
That's nice.
And do a lot of private lending now. So I'm at that phase where I'm trying to give up some of the properties, but I bought 6 last week. I'm trying to property management in place and get some of that off my plate. And I really like the lending side of the business also, because I run the local Meetup here, which is actually this Thursday. If anybody's still in town, be my guest. You can come to Palmetto Brewing, 6 p.m. But so yeah, we have a group of investors that I've known for at least 5, 6, 7 years. A lot of them, some a lot more that I lend to. So people that I know are in the business and doing well. So that's been a fun side of the business too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful side of the business. And definitely something you can evolve into. A lot of people do evolve, and I evolved into it as well. And something to look forward to, because like rocking share money, and you know what to do if it goes wrong. You know what to do if it goes bad.
I know how to underwrite a deal, and I'm more comfortable with that than throwing in the stock market or something.
Yeah, safer.
Yeah.
Safer, the return on investment, and your protection on the upside is a very good one.
Yeah.
So tell us, how many deals have you done over the years?
Oh gosh, I knew you'd ask me that. At least a few hundred. I mean, hundreds and hundreds. Are we talking just subject twos or all
No,
deals?
we're talking about like the whole enchilada.
Yeah, a lot. Definitely done a lot. So I don't keep track.
Yeah,
of it,
it's hard to keep up. You just, hey, you did 6 last week. Yeah, and it's one of those things that they just reappear. This old guy told me this story one time. He said, let me ask you a question. I said, you're still buying properties? And he says, let me ask you a question. If there was a $100 bill on the ground, would you bend down and pick it up? And I said, yeah. And he said, that's all I do. I just bend down and pick up deals. He said, it just comes naturally. Yeah.
It's hard to pass it by.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And one of the things that we do in our world is to help deserving families end up with home ownership, regardless of credit or financial background. So is that something that you gear yourself towards, and you look at your business from that point of view?
Sure. Yeah, ours is, as far as the mobile home side of the business, it's all based around affordability, and we don't do credit checks and all that stuff either. So get a sense for the person, meet them, get them to fill out the applications, and as long as they have the option consideration and the reservation fee, we might do a criminal background. But other than that, we're helping them get in there and get set up, and so a lot of times they're the very best tenants we could have asked for.
So you're verifying their income, verifying, make sure that they do have dependable, predictable monthly income. And that's so important for everybody to learn. Don't just let anybody move into anything. You've got to be careful about that one. All right, so tell us a little bit more about how you find your deals.
So we do direct mail, we got all the websites and all that kind of stuff. A lot of it's referrals these days. Like I said, we should throw these leads away, and that's the same case with a lot of other investors that I know. They're going to throw them away anyway, so they call me and say, hey, you want these mobile homes? Somebody from the city just texted me and said, hey, I know you buy a lot of properties. You called in here yesterday for 3 of them. I'm looking for one, and I have one for sale. So city employees call me, park managers call me, all the investors around here know me. So yeah, and then we actually started a co-working space also for real estate investors specifically. So that's been really cool. You got to come by and check that out.
Yeah, baby, let's do that.
It's in North Charleston, right across from the Coliseum, right near the airport and everything. But
yeah, Adam asked me to come to your meeting on Thursday. He said, is there any way you can stay over? And I said, if you ask me to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, come on by. Yeah, anybody who wants to come by, just let them know.
Oh, that's fine.
So yeah, we bought a commercial building, and then we had this warehouse behind it. It used to be a flooring company, and kind of walked in there, what are we going to do with this place? And we could rent it to contractors and have them coming and going all the time, or just double down on the real estate investor community here in Charleston and make this a really cool space. So we Came in there, renovated this whole warehouse. It's got a podcast studio, conference room, a golf simulator, and then a bunch of hot desks like this where you can come work. So it's nothing but real estate investors coming in and out all day long.
Oh, nice.
A lot of deal flow comes from that too.
Excellent. So a lot of the deals that you're doing these days are with existing investors. They're out there beating the bushes. They find something. Hey, Dusty, what about this one? Can you help me with this one?
Happens about every day. Yeah.
About every day, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing too. Camille runs a group there in Tallahassee, and she's had a lot of opportunity like that come her way too as well. So it's a fun experience that we have together. These people are from all over the country. They are our platinum masterminds, and
good.
we've got people from all parts of the country here.
Awesome.
And we come together 3 times a year and learn from one another and support one another.
Definitely in the right room.
It's a fun thing. Yeah, I've enjoyed this experience. Started this after you got started with us, but I found out I had a love for coaching and a love for helping others to build their businesses. It gets boring when you already know what to do.
It's a little lonely sometimes.
Yeah, you put your finger right on it. This is a lonely business for a lot of people. So if you have somebody else to engineer and think things through and help you through, it's a very powerful and helpful thing. So if somebody's just getting started these days and they really don't know what they don't know, what would you advise them to do?
Join a mastermind, which you're already in here, but that's been huge. Getting around people who are trying to pull you up to the next level, not to pull you down. Not that crab mentality that a lot of people have where they're trying to pull you back down into the bucket.
Amen.
Get around solid people who are trying to lift you up, and it's okay to be the dumbest guy in the room. Just if you're the smartest guy, change rooms. Keep growing.
Yeah, that's very good advice. Now, a lot of people get stopped over funding. Oh my God, I can't do this business because I don't have access to millions of dollars, or I can't myself go qualify for a loan. What would you say to them?
Gosh, if you have a great deal, the funding will appear, I promise you. If you have a great deal, it's easy to get funded these days. It's never been easier. Plus, this guy's going to teach you how to not use a lot of money anyway.
That's right. We don't go to banks. We don't qualify for loans. That's not what we do. You learn that from from the very beginning. How old were you at that time?
I want to say 21 or so.
And now you're 22?
Yeah, 21, 22, something like that. Yeah, so in 2003.
Yeah,
I think.
2003? Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. It's just amazing what you've been able to create. Tell us about your family.
Yeah, got married about 7 years ago. She had 3 girls, and so we have 3 girls who are 2 of them are in college now.
Wow.
And one at College of Charleston, one at USC, and then we have a sophomore in high school.
And they didn't have the College of Dad?
Try to talk them out of it.
I know, it is so amazing. We bring these humans into the universe, and they got we're beings and bodies on a journey, right?
Yeah.
They got another journey.
I told them to go enjoy it. You might never use it, but the one at College of Charleston, she said, do I have to live at home? I said, no, go enjoy
Please
yourself.
don't.
Go enjoy yourself. So I think she's having a ball. The first day I dropped her off, she looked kind of scared, and I was like, you know, come home, 5-minute Uber right away. You want to come home a night or two? And then we never heard from her again. Basically, she was having the time of her life, I think. So, but yeah, it's been awesome. It's been great.
That is pretty awesome. And so, gosh, you're so young still. What do you see for your future?
Yeah, so the youngest one will be out of school in 2 or 3 years, and then we'll probably do a lot of traveling. So
That's,
have RV and all that fun stuff already. We'll hit the road.
There's this
They can't move back in if they can't find you.
There's this thing called empty nesting.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Awesome.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I told Shelly it was going to be like that, right? She had 5. She had 5. Now she got 9. It's a
So
beautiful.
we're looking
thing.
forward to that. Slowly going to offset a lot of the property management. We'll still continue private lending with our IRAs and cash and all that.
So you're self-managing the properties that you're doing?
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have a couple, I call it a long interview. I've had these property managers for 3 or 4 years now, and giving them 4 or 5 properties a piece to see how they move and how that goes and everything. We'll see which one wins out,
yeah.
and we'll slowly give them everything probably. And then just continue lending and traveling and all that fun stuff.
Oh, that's interesting to grow to, and definitely a fun decision to go to that next level
Yeah.
and be able to enjoy life.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's
We were
about.
having the laughs over the last couple of days. Every presentation up here was where they've traveled to in the last 4 months. So many of them have been enjoying the
Oh, yeah.
business, you know, as well as doing the business, also enjoying the business, which is quite wonderful. So you started with us with the whole enchilada of real estate investing, right?
Yep.
The whole enchilada.
The whole enchilada.
And you got the whole
We
enchilada.
got 3 whole enchiladas. Well, for some reason, when we started, we all lived together, it was about 3.
And that was the shocker for me. I will tell you that
We went
happened.
on the phone quickly, just saying, this is about multiple enchiladas, and then they'll call you right away.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So they were sitting together right on the front row. I still remember this. I still remember this, that you
Yeah.
guys were sitting on the front row and you're elbowing each other and you're
Yeah.
and I'm watching this happening. I'm watching this whole experience happening on the front row, and then Dennis or Helga, one of them tells me, actually each one of them are getting their whole enchilada. And I said, each one of them? They're not playing the partnership game? They're actually each one getting their whole thing. I was so impressed by
I
that.
wore those cassettes out.
Yeah, baby.
That was back in the tape days.
Yes, sir. That was back in the tape days. We have come a long way, baby. But that was so interesting about that, because you each saw that each of you had your own journey. You had your own route to go, and you had your own stuff. Even though you were in school, even though you had to spend money to get the whole enchilada, you still did it. And Adam was saying, wow, I spent so much for my whole enchilada, but I'm so glad I did. And it's a beautiful thing that people are still using the documents today. Now, of course, a lot of them have been
My binders
updated.
are
And
tatters. I need to come re-up.
it's time. It's time. We need to upgrade you and update you for sure. We've learned a few things.
Yes.
We have learned some great things.
It's been a journey.
And so now, giving an opportunity, does anyone have any questions for Dusty? Yeah, we got, oh, yeah, baby. Here they go. Yes, there are questions.
Michelle Vogel from Maryland, and I wanted to know more about your private lending,
Yeah.
about what your terms are. Do you do long-term, short?
Yeah, it's all short term, 6-month type loans, but they usually go over to about 9 months usually. And there's of course fees for that, but generally it's 12 to 14% and a few points as interest rates have risen. Maybe they'll need to rise a little bit too. So yeah, occasionally we'll do one in second position, and that was a lot higher, like 20-some%.
And then the other question I had was on the mobile home park. Do you own the parks, or, okay, and are there any sort of relationship with the parks themselves? So do you also work with other park owners?
Yeah, we work with other park owners here. They send me all kinds of mobile home business here. But as far as buying them, yeah, we're always marketing to them and asking who's got a park for sale kind of thing. Is that your question?
Yeah, I guess I wanted to know, like, when you first started, did you buy the whole park, or did you actually like sell or buy a mobile home in a
It
park?
was just mobile homes in a park when I was first doing them. And then over time, you hear about a motivated seller, and then you figure out how to buy a park. This was our financing, yeah.
So that's your best ROI, you believe, have been the parks?
I think so. Even smaller parks that have 12 or 20 units, it's easy to buy them, raise rents, and then sell them to another mom and pop for over double what you bought it for. But the bigger parks are good to hold and let them appreciate over time. And no matter what the market does, these things are, I think, you can either move down into them, there's nowhere else to go. If they're cheaper than apartments, then, you know, it's affordable as it gets.
People do have
Pretty
their
well
own
insulated from the
sovereign
market.
little space
Yeah.
too. Nobody's overhead, nobody's yelling
Yeah.
beside them. Well, they're yelling, but there's a little
Yeah.
space in between. And so people feel a lot more comfortable, like it's their spot, all that sort of thing. And you can do path to home ownership
Yeah.
with these folks just the same as you can do with other. I look up incubators. So we grow people up there. We help them build their credit, build their down payment. They can move on to a single family home if they want to, or
Yeah.
they can just live their life out
Yeah.
at that same spot. It's incredible cash flow, incredible return on investment. Now, when you're working with parks and the home that you're buying is in a park, how do you navigate that?
You have to have a good relationship with the park manager, and if it's too big of a park or big institutional hedge fund owned park, these people turn over all the time, so you might have a great relationship with her one day, bring them donuts and coffee or whatever, they love you to death, and then she's out of there in 2 weeks. So you gotta be careful of that. But a lot of the mom and pop ones that are actually owned around town, they all know me, and I try to respect their part, make sure it's clean, over deliver. If I move one out of there, I go back and clean up the lot. I remember stuff like that. So just treating them better than you need to. And a lot of these investors just run all over them and do stuff. So if you can over deliver on your service, they're going to think about you next time. Like that one, I bought 3 out of a park that's trading right now, and they thought about me first. And the owner's daughter actually had these in the park, and she got referred and said, "Dusty, so you need to call." So she sold me 3 of those 6 last week.
Oh, nice. And what was the average purchase price on those?
I paid $40,000 for all 3 of those.
All 3, all 3. And they were 2 bedroom, 1 bath, or?
Yeah, 2 of them are, I think, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, or 2 twos, and one of them's a 3-2.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So that's probably going to bring in close to $3,000 a month in the rent.
Yeah. And I'll probably get $500 to $7,500 down on a lease option from somebody who can't wait to move in, and get most of my money back.
So your gross rent multiplier is to get all your money back within 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that program a lot. I love it. So definitely you can make a lot of money doing it that way. And of course, these things they just don't wear out. They're there, they do wear, but they're still there.
Yeah.
So you can put down another piece of.
They can only depreciate so much. If they're cash flowing this much, they're worth something to somebody.
Yep, that's a beautiful thing. Yes, sir.
Dusty, have you developed relationships with some of since you're in parks, do you have different mobile home manufacturers? Do you get new ones, or are you still trying to go for the used
I
market?
go for the used ones so far. But if I had to fill a park up fast, they have programs with Clayton and stuff like that where you can.
Okay.
I think the manager or the owner has to guarantee rents for a year or 2 or something, and they'll start moving them straight off the factory line into the park and stuff like that.
Well, that's a good question. Do you buy new ones?
Not really, no.
No. So you're buying used all the time. Okay, that's good advice. So you don't really have the ROIs
I
and
have a
nearly as
reason
good.
to. Yeah, if I had a park that I was wanting to fill up quickly, maybe there's a good reason to. But
What do you spend average on a fix-up on a property that you get? Mobile home?
probably $7-8 grand, in their paint. There's a guy right now down at the dump getting the paint that's been recycled or something, going back to one of these properties and painting it right now. We try to go in there, as long as the floors are good, go in there and paint it. Any smells out of it.
De-smell it?
Yeah,
Right.
and then it goes, kills it, paint it, get it cleaned up, maybe some new appliances, and throw it back on the market. Sometimes people want to come in there and fix it up themselves and make it their own.
That's a beautiful thing. The Work for Equity program does work in mobile homes, doesn't it? A lot of the people that do fix things live in mobile homes, so they know how to fix things. It's what they do every day.
Yeah.
These are the kind of people we're looking for. Salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. They cause things to happen. Next question.
Yes, my question is.
Tell us who you are.
Oh, Adisa Berry from Maryland. What is the life expectancy of a mobile home?
Yes, I bought them as late as 1976, which is a year you need to know mobile homes were. That's when HUD came out and basically said, you can't move them really if they're any older than that. If you were in a position where you needed to move it, you couldn't. So that's an important year to know. And you can often tell because the roofs were circular at that time, a lot of them, and when they start going to pitched roofs, they're probably older than 76, a lot of them. But yeah, so I try to, a lot of them, they wear down. They'll last as long as you take care of them, put it that way.
There's a lot of replaceable parts on a mobile home, so you can keep them active, keep them in service for a very long time. It's crazy some of the places people live in.
But the other question I have is,
When
will you buy like a new mobile home, for instance, if you decide to replace one?
You saying how?
A brand new one?
Yeah, a brand new one. Yeah,
Yeah,
brand new.
well, let's make the distinction of why would you buy a new one?
No,
Because when you're looking at return on investment, as Dusty is telling you about, if you were to buy a new one and you look at your return on rents versus just buying a used one,
You're not gonna get 10 times more rent for something that costs 10 times more, basically. But if I owned the dirt and I needed 20 mobile homes, maybe I'd go to Clayton and work out a deal. to fill the park up quickly, especially if I was gonna sell the park or something. But just for what I do around here, it's just the return on investment's better with the used one.
That's a beautiful thing. Camille,
Going.
tell them who you are and where you're from.
Camille Duke, Crawfordville, Florida. When you were talking about your meetup group, how do you structure a program? Because I own one, and there are times when I get really frustrated thinking I'm doing a lot of work and no return on the investment. What do you generally do for your meetings to keep people active and to get? I did it when I moved to the area to learn and get to know people, but I also do it to bring in deals. So do you offer mentoring?
Yeah, we have a coaching program as well, but for the meetups, we do own it with 3 other people that are all my good friends, and we've done lots of deals together, but quarterly, we're responsible for being the quarterback that day. So every 4 months is your day where you're quarterbacking that meeting. And you get to decide, do I want to bring up a panel of other investors and interview them? Do I want to have one speaker? But we never sell anything in any of our meetings. We have sponsors, but we don't. The meeting that used to go on before us was terrible, and they have somebody from out of town come speak about a course nobody's ever heard of, and they'd split it with the speaker. None of the veterans ever came
We
back.
don't do that either.
Yeah, so when we started this, we were like, no sales, nothing but value, and that's it. So everybody comes back, all the veterans come back, they love it. So it ends up being a really great group.
That's nice. How many do you typically have at a meeting?
We'll have, there's no Atlanta. We in Charleston, we'll typically have over 100 people, maybe 150 come to Palmetto Brewing.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very significant.
And same faces keep coming back over and over, and our attorney sponsors a food truck, pays for the whole bill every month.
Oh, we like it when attorneys
Yeah.
pay.
He's been doing that for years, often has a comment in it. So,
The other
yeah,
question-
It's been a good return on
Yeah.
investment for him.
Yeah, sure.
The other question on that was your co-working space.
Yeah.
How much do you charge for a co-working space?
Like a lot of these places are really nice for a couple $100 a month and you just go to work there. We do a similar concept, except there's an initiation fee. So $2,500 to join, and then it's $200 a month. Figure they won't cancel for at least a couple of years. Once you already have it built out, you can keep selling it straight to the bottom line
That's
business.
nice.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
And we get to pick and choose who's members. And even have a little app, and you can book the golf simulator for a certain time on the calendar, or book the conference room or the podcast studio. And other than that, you just work at whatever desks are open. So it's pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's very cool, very cool. So, did Dusty do a great job? Give him a hand. Dusty, I want to recognize you for the amazing individual that you are, and the amazing things that you have done in the community here and changed a lot of lives.
Wow.
So this is somebody messed up my things because I had them stacked accordingly. But here we go. Certificate of
I love
Accomplishment
it.
to Dusty Keefe for helping deserving families with affordable housing.
I love it.
This 31st day of March 2025.
I couldn't have done it
baby.
without you. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. You're awesome.
Thanks for tuning in to the whole enchilada of real estate investing. I hope you're feeling ready to take your investing game to the next level. If you're serious about building wealth, you won't want to miss the Millionaire Jumpstart. It's a 3-day live event that's perfect for any level of investor. Whether you're just getting started or you're looking to scale, this can be one of the final steps of making real wealth happen. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now at millionairejumpstart.com and get ready to make big moves in your real estate journey. I'm Lou Brown. Until next time, keep hustling, and remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how smart you play the game.